everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Jo, I am Belushi Stitches here on Flosstube and also over on Instagram. This is my channel about cross stitch. If you're new here, thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you enjoy this video and I hope that maybe I can enable you to join me in a project or two, you never know. And if you're returning, thank you very much for coming back. And either way, if you're new or returning and if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, the like button below and the subscribe button if you want to see more. Okay, so it's been a while. I start these videos the same way every time. It's been a while since my last Flosstube. It actually has been a while since my last Flosstube. The most recent one I put up was in October, but I actually filmed it in August. I filmed it in August, and on the day that I filmed, my cat started being a little bit ill as a reaction to some medication. Anyway, it started off a whole heap of different things that led to some treatment a couple of months ago, and then when she came home I had to do some like special stuff, so I shan't go into it now, probably ever, but if you're interested let me know. But it was just one of those things. I never got to sit down and edit the video. I never got to just look back at the video and do it, but eventually I thought, right, I will, and I had some time in October, so I put that one out for you. But it actually hasn't been since August since I've recorded anything for you. So I've made a list of things. It's not as long as I thought it was going to be. There's one big HAED reason for that, but I'll come on to that later. So I do have some starts and some finishes, some whips. For those of you who have followed me for a while, either on Instagram or here on YouTube, I've got a Heaven and Earth design piece that was my focus piece for the year, and you'll be pleased to know that's in the finish section. Spoiler. So I'm just going to get on, but I wanted to say thank you to anyone who has messaged me or asked how I am or has commented recently on my floss tubes. I really appreciate all of the care. I am thoroughly enjoying everybody's Flossmas videos at the moment. I'm just overwhelmed with the amount of Flosstube videos I have to watch, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Probably going to have some December plans in here as well. I'm definitely going to do an end of year whip parade, which is going to take 4 days. But I might also do a kind of plans for next year. Emma and I, #SalQueens, have got some ideas, so I might do a separate video for that. I just realised as well I look quite flushed in this video. I am absolutely baking. It's literally freezing here in the UK today. I have already nearly slipped over on the front steps that I have. It took me about 15 minutes to scrape all the ice off my car. Absolutely freezing, but for some reason this room is boiling. So I'm pretty warm. I'm going to start with finishes. The first one today is Adrift. This is by Selina Fenech. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs charted piece. This is an old crinkly bit of paper now that I've been carrying around in my whip bag for a year. I might do a separate video about Adrift with stats and stuff, but I might not. That was very vague. I started this one on the 24th of December 2020, and I did 4,200 stitches, and then in 2021, so in the entire year of 2021, I did 28,000 stitches. So by the end of 2021, so yeah, the end of last year, I'd done 32.5 stitches. I'd done 32,000 stitches, which is about 14%. And when it came to last year, watching everyone's kind of end of year whip parades, and watching people talk about their plans and what they were going to do. And I know I've told some of you this already, so apologies. But I was sat thinking, I really want to do all of my full coverages. I have quite a few of them, and I wasn't sure which order to do them in. So I decided just to do the biggest piece that I had and get it done. And I thought, wouldn't it be brilliant if I could finish this in a year? And so I calculated however many stitches I had left. I was going to work on it every single day from the 1st of January until the last day of the year. So I started the year at something like 540 stitches per day, and I just made it my challenge to stitch on this one every single day before I stitched on anything else later on. And I managed it. There were a few days where I didn't stitch anything. There were a few days where I stitched ahead. My stitch target was dropping every month because I was stitching past the target every day. So by about May-ish, and I can't really remember, I decided instead of going to the 31st of December, why don't I bring that back to the 30th of November instead and give myself December off stitching this piece. And I finished it. I finished it on the 20th of November, which meant that over 324 days in 2022, I stitched 197,000 stitches. And I really didn't get to a point where I was really bored with this, even though it's so much background and so much 3371. But I just loved it, and I think I couldn't have done it with something I didn't really want to have and really want to have it finished. So I never really got bored. And I know many people asked me, how do you manage to get over 500 stitches done in a day? And I think it's really important to not compare yourself to anybody else. A lot of stitchers that I know stitch way more than that every single day, and a lot of people that I know stitch a lot less. It's about the time that you have, what frame of mind you're in, what do you want to do? Don't compare yourself to anybody else. I had a bit of spare time. What I did was I used the time that I'd been kind of for the last couple of years studying for finance exams. I was using that time in the morning, so I would get up and be stitching by 6:30, 6:15, 6:30 every morning before work, and then maybe I'd come downstairs and stitch a little bit afterwards. So I'm working from home, so that immediately removes any commute that other people might have. And then in the evening I would stitch on this one. Sometimes I'd do a little bit, get to my target and think that's enough, not stitching anything else. Sometimes I stitched other things in the evening. Sometimes I carried on stitching on this one and did more stitches on it. It was really, I don't know, I just did a combination of everything and I just managed it. I do have a kind of journal, it's a book of days, which is like a journal, and I can see that some months I stitched another project in the evening, you know, a small amount, and there were a lot of months where I just stitched for 19 days of the month. For instance, I just stitched on Adrift, so completely different and random. This piece has taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot about discipline. It's taught me what I can put my mind to if I really want to. It's taught me what I've spent my time on, and you know, allowed me to question, is this a sensible thing? Is this a reasonable goal that I've given to myself? Is it getting in the way of anything, any other aspects of my life? Became quite philosophical towards the end, and it also just showed me, like, the determination that I have for something. I shall show you the finished piece. In total, this is 229,600 stitches. I think there's about 85, how many? 85 colours. There's a tiny bit of Kreinik. It's absolutely massive. It's on 18 count white Ada, 2 strands. I think that's it. I'll show you now. Here she is. Not in any way ironed or pressed. And to give you a sense of size, here's my hand. I'll bring her in. And I'll just bring her a little bit closer so you can see the detail. There's some Kreinik here. You can see the shine there, it's in the sun on the horizon. But the colours that are in her face, when you're stitching it, you think this can't be right. And it's absolutely stunning. The waves there. And for anyone who's followed me on Instagram previously, they would have seen, I would have been saying multiple times, my phone shows her very orange, and in fact I think in this light it's showing her quite orange. She's more, yeah, that's right actually, yeah, that bit's pretty, it is pretty orange, but my phone the whole time was showing it really bright orange, and she's not bright orange, she is quite a muted colour. We've got all her hair, her arm and her hand. Tiny stitches, and I just want you to see the tail at the bottom. So the tail, I think, looks pretty cool from far away. And when you bring her in, there's a lot of brown in there. A lot of brown. And then the background is just so much brown. And I know I've showed you these before, but these little bubbles here, oh, you have to excuse my hands, by the way, in the cold weather they get terribly cracked. And I did some gardening last week and I really hurt myself. Anyway, these are the colours in the bubbles. Purples and greens. Just beautiful. So yeah. So just for a few more stats, on average throughout 2022, no, on average, every single day that I stitched on her in total was 380 days from start to finish. 324 of those are in this year, 2022. And for every single day that I stitched on her, I stitched on average 604 stitches, which is above my target. Yeah, and then in this year I stitched 608 per day on average. Doing a terrible job showing you what she looks like, but that's a pretty cool tail though. And in total, stitch days, start to finish, so 24th of December 2020 to the 20th of November 2022, the entire time would be 697 days. And on those days, I stitched for 380, and I did not stitch on her for 317, for those of you who are interested in some extra numbers. But she's going to go to the framers soon. I'm just keeping on going back. So there she is. For those of you who have watched some of my previous floss tubes, I did complete a Heaven and Earth Designs piece before called Meeting on the Turret Stairs. I got that one framed last year, and the finished piece plus the mat board plus the frame is pretty much the size of the stitched piece of Adrift. So I naively thought, oh yes, I'll finish it early and then go and get it framed in December. But I'm a bit too scared to take it to the framer because Meeting on the Turret Stairs cost me quite a lot to frame, and this one's, like I said, this one's the size of the whole of the finished thing. So I'm going to be saving up my pennies to frame her. I think I'm probably going to do a bit of a de-stash on a few things. Any details about that I would put on my Instagram. And I also have a Buy Me a Coffee, which is a link that I'll put below. I'm not asking, there's no obligation, but if anyone wanted to help fund a framing of her, then I've popped a link below. It's such a wonderful piece. I know exactly where it's going to go as well. Yeah, eventually. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so my second finish was Christmas Wreath. So Emma from Emma X Stitching, my fellow SAL queen, we decided to do a stitch along where we would stitch this one in 4 parts. So we would have 4 quarters, and the pattern actually came in 4 quarters, which was really good. Like each page was a quarter of the pattern, so it was really easy to follow. On Pattern Keeper though, you can do anything, so it's perfect. This one's by Durene Jones. We had 2 wonderful hashtags for this. The first one being Orange Christmas Wreath Sal, and the second one being Orange You Going to Stitch a Christmas Wreath? Emma's fault. And we had an Instagram chat group with loads of people showing their fabrics, their progress. It's been absolutely fantastic. So to anyone watching that's in that group, thank you very much. And to anyone who's watching who wants to join, you still can. There are people in the group who have not finished. There are people in the group who have not started it. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a group open. It's not just for that time period and then it goes away. If you want to join, message either myself or Emma, we can let you in. And yeah, it's such a lovely group, and we've had a really great chat about backstitch, fabric colours, where we've got to. It's just lovely. So thank you to everybody who participated in this SAL. It was amazing. Hi to everyone in the group. If you search on Instagram for those hashtags, you can see other people on Instagram who have used that hashtag. Then you can see their picture, so you'll be able to see the different finishes and different counts that people stitched on and things. But this is my finish. Get the right way up. And here it is. Absolutely love this one. I'm going to bring this one in. It's on 16 count white Ada. And so, yeah, there's a lot of backstitch afterwards for these bits here. There's quite a lot of backstitch afterwards. It's great though, it's really good fun. And love the bow. The robin. Excuse my phone going off. Yeah, oranges were fun too. I stitched this one in hand using the sewing method. With these snowflakes in the middle, hang on, there we go. They're supposed to have a few French knots, but I decided, a few of us decided we didn't really, sorry my cat's wobbling the camera, we decided we didn't really need them, so we left them off. So yeah, this one's going to be finished probably in a hoop, and it should probably be finished now for the Christmas decorations, but it's not yet. But it's been in a bag ready to show you. But yes, this is this one. I can highly recommend this one. Evelyn from Evelyn Across the Pond also finished this one maybe the year before last, I think. She finished it in a hoop with some, what's it called? Like bobbly pom-pom trim around the outside. There's a really good other word name for that. But anyway, this is my wreath. Evelyn did a great finish, and yeah, if you haven't stitched this one but you thought you wanted to, definitely go for it because it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so my next finish is a Mill Hill. It's my first ever finished Mill Hill kit. I started this one in June for the Gilmore Girls retreat by Black Needle Society, and for those of you familiar with Gilmore Girls, they like pizza, so I started this one. This is called Pizza Slice. It's this one. Oh, it's a bit bright. There we go, camera sorting itself out. So this has normal cross stitch, 3 strands, perforated paper, I think it's 14 count, and then some beads. So I'll just bring this one in. Woo! I did this one over 3 sittings, and I haven't beaded for maybe 25 years, I don't know. I did a lavender and lace piece when I was a teenager, and yeah, probably 25 years, realistically. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was a bit intimidated, a bit worried at first. You know, I know I can do it because I did it before, but it's still one of those things that you just think, oh, I don't do it very often, I haven't done it for ages, I'm not sure. But actually it was absolutely fine. And it was really interesting. Some of these beads, you can see, for instance, these are diagonal. Probably see it better there. And that's by doing one, is that right? Yeah, that's doing a half cross through the stitch. And then some of these, like these red ones, are vertical, and that's because you do a full cross in them. So I get it now. Yeah, you can really see the difference between those and those. Can you see the difference? I can see the difference, but I know it's there. But I think that's quite a realistic pizza slice, if I'm honest. I think that's pretty good. Look, I think it's even got a stuffed crust. I love it. Okay, so that's that one. So also with the beads, they came in 2 bags and they're all mixed up. So you have to separate them. And so I separated them into these little sort of pill boxes things. Wait for it to take off my face. There you go. These pill boxes, and then they only had 4 and I needed 5, so I left one in the bag. But I used that, and then I also used it's a bead, just a sticky bead mat. So I used the sticky mat. I don't have it with me. Obviously I haven't got it to hand because that would be really helpful. But I used it and it was absolutely wonderful. But I was doing this on the sofa, so I sort of ended up holding my piece and had the massive like grey floppy bead mat over my hand, and then was holding my stitching. So it was great, but it was a bit awkward. So what I'm looking for, and I'm wondering if any of you know where I can find them. I've tried to find one on, I think I might have found one on Etsy. But what I'm looking for is one of the, I'm sure I've seen somebody do them. They were needle minders with the tacky stuff on it. But I think I want a ring. I think it would be really helpful, really good to be able to have a ring with some beads on it. So I did buy, again, I don't know where I put this stuff, but I've bought myself a bead nabber, which is like a little false fingernail. Is it? Yeah, like a little false fingernail. You've got a tiny little patch on the end where you've got like a couple of beads. But I think it's almost like Velcro. I want something sticky, like the sticky mat, which was really good. So if any of you know where I might be able to source a ring with like a little tray on the top, like a needle minder size, that's a ridiculous thing to say because needle minders come in all sizes, but something like that. My hands are massive, no. Something sticky there, I think that would be really helpful. I think that would work really well. And I'll need it because I'm beading something hopefully in a couple of weeks. This one also does come with a, I'm putting it away now, sorry it's crinkly, a heart treasure, like a bigger bead to stick on, to sew on, but I decided not to. I thought it looked so realistic as a pizza slice, I wouldn't have a big red heart charm on it, so I left it off. Let's move on to starts. So I didn't really plan to have any starts because I was working on Adrift, and I thought I don't really need any more, because in order to do Adrift, that was something I forgot to say as well, which is why I think maybe I should do a whole other separate video on it if anyone would be interested in that. But what the other way that I was able to stitch, sorry, there's like fluff flying around. The other way that I was able to stitch Adrift was by not stitching on a lot of my other whips. So I have whips that I haven't worked on at all this year. In 2022, they just went away in a basket and they've stayed there. So while it was something I did have to sacrifice stitching on other stuff. Through choice though, isn't it? It was what I wanted to do, and now I'm going to concentrate on all my other whips. So I was chatting to Kelly, who is Animal Stitches on Instagram and Animal Instinct on YouTube, and we kind of were quite into the Halloween stitching, but thought it might be really fun to do a couple of starts in October. We started with one that we both really liked, and I'll show you this one first. And I sent this pattern to Kelly a while ago, and then it became, oh, we could do this one as well. Oh yeah, I like that one. What about this one? Yeah, I quite like that one too. Why don't we just have one start for every weekend in October, which meant 5, so that was what we did. So we have 5 Halloween starts, which we started in October. A couple of different people joined us, which was really cool, and anyone that I mentioned today, I will link below, and I would very much encourage you to go and see all of their stuff. So the first one was Silhowitches Quaker by Teresa Kogut. Oh, I just love this one. It's this one here. Silhowitches Quaker. There are so many good bits in this. I just love it. Oh, I just love it so much. So this one has 2, is it 2 colours? Wait. 2 colours. Yeah, it has 2 colours, so it is just all of this dark colour and then the cat and the green here in Frankenstein's monster. A couple of other little highlights in green, but it's so good. It's so good. So I originally saw this one on Angela's channel. So Angela is a YouTuber and she has an Instagram. She is Angela Loves to Stitch. If you are not watching Angela, you should. She is absolutely lovely, very, very funny, and has some incredible whips. Some really, really good projects, and she has the most beautiful house, which you get to see sometimes. Definitely watch her. But I saw her, she'd started this one ages and ages ago, maybe 2 years ago, can't remember. I thought, I have to have it immediately. So I went and ordered it. I couldn't find it in the UK, so I ordered it from the US, and then one came in available at the UK, so I bought that one, and then the one in the US came in as well. At which point I thought I would cancel the other order, bought it again, and sent a copy to Kelly. So I ended up with 3 copies. One is in Australia with Kelly. I have a UK one, they're all the same. But then I also have a 3rd one, so just to show you, this is my, this is a 3rd one, and this is a US one. Where's the sticker? There you go, the sticker's at the bottom there. So this is a US one, which I got put in. I know it's glary, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to show you it's here, it's a full pattern. At some point I did email the designer, Teresa, to say, is it available in a PDF? But actually it's such a good pattern, we've been able to get it into Pattern Keeper. So hopefully that's something you'd be able to do too. So I have the measliest of starts. Is that a word? I have the smallest of starts. So the plan was to start these on Saturdays, but if any of you have watched me before and are familiar with my Snail House Saturdays, it would occasionally, more often than not, turn into Snail House Sundays. So I don't know why I've got a mental block about starting things on Saturdays, but I seem to be able to do it on the Sunday when I'm running out of time in the weekend. So this was my start on a Sunday. Let's play those trumpets. Which corner is it? It's this corner here. Is it this corner? I'm going to try that all again. This is my start. This is the top corner. It's been a long day. I've been Christmas shopping in the centre of town today where I live, and it has been absolute chaos. So I'm shattered, and I wanted to show you this. This is stitched on Seraphim Bee's Knees 40 count. It is 40 count that it's called for, but yeah, it's just this tiny start. So actually, it's not that much bigger than the picture, so you can see really what size it's going to be. But yeah, it's such a good design. I just can't get over how amazing it is. And I think, how close is this going to bring in? Oh, quite a lot. There you go. Yeah, I'm using the called for, and so Kelly and I started, and so did Angela. Angela joined us on this one, so all 3 of us started it. Angela restarted hers. It's so cool. It only uses 2 colours. Yeah, 40 count, 1 strand. I'm using the call for colours, which are Swamp Water and Guacamole. Yeah, from Weeks Dye Works. These amazing colours. I do have some sort of neon green. Oh, in fact, it's here. Hang on. Some pretty neon green, which was a gift from Kelly, which I'm thinking I might either completely replace this one, or we're going to make a few adjustments. I can't tell you exactly what we're going to do, mainly because we don't know for sure yet, but I might use this green as well. It's so bright, it's so bright. But yeah, these are really lovely colours, with my little frog cake keyring ring bling. Thank you, Kelly. And my amazing floss drops here. So the reason for telling you all about the fact that I had a number of copies of this is to say that I'm going to be giving this one away, and I will ship it internationally. If you could put the word Quaker in the comments below, then I will put you into the draw. If you could let me know what you'd like to see a Quaker in, so for instance, I would really like to see a robotic, but a robot Quaker. And I do actually have an Ink Circles, I think it's Robotica, which is going to be a start next year. Oh, I should have done that. Never mind. I'd really like to see a robot Quaker. So if there's something specific that you would like to see in a Quaker, please put Quaker in that sentence and tell me all about it. Or tell me what you like about Quakers, maybe. You must be 18 or over. You must be happy with giving me your address so I can mail this out to you. Don't say any of the words that would flag up in any automated algorithms, like freebie, giveaway, prize, win, winning, stuff like that. If you do, I will have to delete your comment. I'm really sorry. Okay, on to the next one. It could actually have been this one that started off the whole must do all the starts in October thing. So this one is Haunted Library by Lola Cross Stitch. And so for this one, Kelly and I were joined by Deb Wilson, who is also on YouTube, and just absolutely wonderful. I love watching Deb's monthly updates. She has some incredible projects, and she's so relaxing to listen to. Deb, I love your channel. So the stitch along for this one was released in parts. It's now finished, and on a couple of them there's a few personalizations. There's a Facebook group where loads of different people have put little personalizations that they've done, or little patterns that they've added in that they wanted to add in, that are absolutely brilliant. And on one of them, on one particular piece, they provided, the designer provided a second, like an alternative pattern, because it might be a bit, it's something not everybody likes. If you're still doing the stitch along, I've purposefully tried not too much to look at all the pieces, but if you don't want to see what it looks like because you're working on it properly as a stitch along and you're purposefully not looking at the future bits, then look away now. But otherwise it looks like this. The finished piece looks like this. There we go. Let's use the ring light. It's really cool. It's so cool. There's so many bits. And in this group, which is what makes these communities so good, somebody had done a lot of the kind of skulls on the ends of the banisters and things in glow in the dark. So alongside my floss here, which is all the floss that I need, again in my trusty old floss knots, I've also bought some glow in the dark DMC, which I'm going to use at certain bits in there, which I think is going to be really cool. I'm stitching this one on a 32 count. Again, I didn't get too far. This could be upside down. Wait. No, I think it's this way. Again, this was going to be probably a Sunday night job. Yes. I think it's all 310. I'm pretty sure the whole of that sort of banister bit is 310. But it is, yeah, so that's there, and then I know it's in a bag, but it's just above, I don't know if you can see, just above the middle sort of chandelier section, those kind of twirly bits on the banister. That's what that is. So not a huge amount, but a start nonetheless. So next up is the Halloween crystal ball, which is this one. This is by the Tiny Modernist. Again, this was a stitch along in, I think, 3 parts. Oh yeah, yeah, because this is part 3 and it's finished. So yeah, it doesn't use a huge amount of colours. I think there's a couple of different. So called for is Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colourworks, and I think for the most part we have gone for. Kelly and I have gone for the same. On some of them, for instance, these kind of these green leaves up here, you kind of wanted that variegated colour, so we went for that. But I think in this, for instance, this sort of light peachy colour, beigey colour behind this, in the spell book, we just went for a flat DMC with that. We just thought it wouldn't be a huge amount. And then some of this white as well, the actual, it just doesn't seem to be much variegation on it, so we've put it as a DMC instead. So yeah, just loved it. Loved this piece. Michelle, Mama Loves You GB on Instagram and on YouTube. Michelle was stitching this one in the parts, and as soon as I saw the kind of the blurred out version of part 1, I just knew this was something I wanted to stitch straight away. So I do have all the floss here on a massively oversized ring. That's completely unnecessary. I do have all of the floss. There's some DMC. I made my own little floss tags, floss drops. Kelly very kindly gifted me some silks from Silks for You. It's so soft though, and that is going to be for. There's a lot here, and there's a lot of dark in that pattern. So that's going to be for all of this dark section. I suspect, obviously the cat and the bat and stuff. Love it. Stitching this one on 32 count again. I went through a bit of a 36 count has been my kind of go-to for a lot of things, and for some reason I think I've started nearly everything on 32 count in October. I just really wanted to. So here's my upside down piece. No, just an upside down needle minder. It's going again. Whee! So this is my start, again, minimal start, but very effective and really lovely silk. So soft. I get it, I get it. I mean, if money was no object and I win the lottery this evening, yeah, I'll be in the silk aisle. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll join you as a silk enthusiast, Betsy. So yes, small start again, but a start is a start. Okay, so I'm definitely a fan of the Wreath stitching, and Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery released the mystery stitch along. I'm just making sure I don't, yeah, so this has got a couple of extracts from probably future parts, but yeah, you can see the wreath here. This is part 1, and I think there's more, and then part 2, part 3, I can't really remember. I'm terrible at this because I'm not stitching on it actively. I'm just making sure I download the parts, but I'm purposely not looking at them. But as soon as I saw, I just love it. I love anything sort of Halloweeny like this. So I bought, you could buy the kit. The kit was available from a company in the UK, but I had some of the flosses already, so I decided to kit it up myself. I'm on another 32 count fabric, and this is where I got to. So I managed to do quite a bit in this one. This is still a small start, but I think it's pretty good. I absolutely love the back stitch in the stained glass window, showing the moon. I just think it's brilliant. That's such a small part as well. Is it in here? Yeah. There you go. Oh, split screen, manual split screen. There's the door. So I've still got a lot to do, even just on part 1, but that's fine. That's fine. Here's my floss. Really, really good Halloween colours. And my homemade floss drops. Okay, so my next one is a restart. I had already started this one. This is Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio, and it's so cool. A lot of people are stitching this one. Teresa Little Stitcher has just started this one. I just love it. Now, in either my most recent Flosstube or the one before, I thanked Emma for spending a lot of time with me choosing my fabric for this one. And I've now restarted it. But thank you very much, Emma, because I very much appreciated your time, and I started it, and I think I'm not brilliant at choosing hand-dyed and things, and I don't have a huge amount of experience in it. But I get it now when you start stitching something and you don't necessarily think that's not right, but you don't want to stitch on it. And then I realised I don't want to stitch on it because it just didn't feel like the right fabric. The actual called for fabric is murky, 40 count murky. And I do have murky, but it is really greeny. It's really sort of, my murky is quite green, like greeny brown, and then the dark bit of the murky that I have is really dark. So I didn't want to use it for this. Instead, I found another fabric, which is something that I was part of the Fabric of the Month Club, and smallest start. And this is showing really blue. In real life, this is very grey. Erg. If I can take a good picture of it, I'll put a picture in of what the actual colour is. This is showing very blue, but you can see that this is very like there's a big contrast between the light section and the dark section. In real life, this is very dark. I mean, you can see this on the fabric, but this is all so much darker. Anyway, that's the start. Tiny start again. I think this is top left. Yeah, so that's this tiny motif here. I've gone for that. And so in this one, I messaged Heather from Crafty Stitches. Hi Heather, hi Steve. And Heather had mentioned I went back and watched, so start again. If you haven't watched the Crafty Stitches floss tubes, definitely go back and watch them. I went back and watched them all from the start. I started watching the most recent one, and I do this sometimes with people, and I just think, no, stop watching, you have to go back to the start immediately. And I did, and I worked my way through every single one of their videos, and they've got some Halloween specials, They're just wonderful. The laughter between them and the friendship that they have is just wonderful. So yeah, and in one of their videos they mentioned, Heather mentioned, oh, I really want to start that one, and hadn't started it. So I messaged Heather and just said, do you want to join us? Kelly and I are stitching this one. She said yes, so we all started it. I'm pretty certain that I am now the most behind with the least amount of stitches. But again, it's absolutely fine. I really love this one. I cannot wait to get back to it. I think it's gonna look great. And like I said, the fabric is so much, it's not blue at all. There's no blue in this. It looks really, really grey in real life. I think it's gonna look brilliant. Hi, Ripley. So the last start, not Halloween related, was a start that I did with Emma. This was something that we'd had planned for a couple of months. We really wanted to do it and eventually started it. This is Needleworker by Little House Needleworks. It's really pretty, and if I bring that in, sorry for the glare, I think you can see the thread there through the needle and then across the whole piece into the bird's beak. I think it's really sweet. This one is again on some 32 count. I think it might be platinum. I might have made that up. But once I started, and I'm stitching this one in hand as well, so it's quite nice to start from the right hand side going across to the left. So I started and I could not put it down, so I did loads. I think that's 400 stitches, something like that. But yeah, I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I'm really hoping I can get back to that one soon. I don't think that will take too long to bash through. I'll just bring this one up. Hopefully you'll be able to see where I am. Oops, fold it over. Terrible wrangling. There you go, just the ER at the end. And then yeah, this piece here goes all the way along. Oh, it's a long old stretch. So yeah, really looking forward to getting back to that one. So that's it for starts. I only have 2 whips that I've kind of been kept up with all year. I've got a couple more older whips, like non-active whips, that I'm bringing back in a minute. But so I've got 2 whips now to show you that I've been working on. So this is Under the Sea by Durene Jones. This is a pattern and I think a kit that you can still get from Lakeside Needlecraft in the UK. Emma and I decided to stitch one of the big motifs each month throughout the year, and then go back at the end and do all the kind of bits, the back stitch, and then all the sort of individual bits that join up all the big motifs. So I have managed to keep up with this one. I haven't yet stitched the December part, but I'll show you where I am. This is on 36 count Under the Sea fabric of the same name as the piece. And this is where I am. So I'll just bring you in. So I haven't done any, I've done a tiny bit of backstitch on one of the pieces, on one of the parts. That one looks a bit creepy. They all look a bit creepy, their eyes are quite creepy. This one, the jellyfish, is slightly different. I did do some backstitch in this one because I subbed out the horrific metallic thread here, oh sorry, too close, with another DMC, and I thought actually I can't tell if it's okay until I put the backstitch in. It is okay, but I actually then on the mermaid went back to stitching with it in her tail, and it wasn't too, I mean it's pretty darn awful, but you get used to it. So yeah, I've got the December piece to do, which I am going to pick up as soon as I finished the next piece that I'm about to show you. So yeah, Kelly has stitched, I'm not sure where she was in her last Flosstube, but she showed it in her last Flosstube, I think. Yeah, she must have done. So yeah, you can check out where she's there. The plan originally for myself and Emma was to get all to this point and then like either in December or next year just do all the backstitch, do all the bits and pieces of it. realistically there's quite a lot there, and I will, when I pick it up again, I want it to be something I'll probably just work on until I finish. As much as I want to work on all the different bits at all the time, I really like working on something until it's finished. But with some of these big ones like Halloween Quaker or something, it's just not feasible. But with something like this, I feel like once I get going on the back stitch, once I get going on the filling out of all the background bits, I'll just want to keep working on it until I finish, which is what I've done with my next whip. So my next whip is Supernatural by the Witchy Stitcher. This is a sister piece, a companion piece to the Cryptid Stitch Along that was done previously, and it's finished now. The Supernatural one's finished. For those of you who have watched my channel and stuff before, you will know that on the Cryptids piece I did all the individual parts in the middle, and then I went round and did the border around the outside and hated it. So when I started Supernatural, I did the border first all the way around, and now I'm just filling in the individual small frames and the small creatures, which is so much better. So for anyone wondering or have fallen behind or something, I can only recommend to you, do the border first. It's painful but worth it. I'll show you where I am currently, and then I'll take it off the hoop and show you the whole thing. But at the moment I'm currently working on the unicorn. Yeah, this looks like an unfortunate accident has happened, but it'll look better with some more red. So I'll take this one off the hoop now, but yeah, it's the unicorn that I'm working on. This is on 18 count manuscript fabric from Lakeside Needlecraft in the UK. This is the same fabric as Cryptids, so they should be able to look the same when they're finished and be the same sizes. What else have I got to tell you? I'm doing each individual one with the back stitch. There's only a tiny bit of back stitch on each one. I'm doing that as I finish, so bit by bit. So when I come to the end of the last creature, it'll all be done. I won't need to go back on anything. It's really crinkly fabric because I have had it on the hoop, as you saw. But this is how it looks now. It's not staying very flat because I've had it in a hoop. I've probably stretched the fabric, but it's going to be fine. I'm going to make it fine. So this is where I've got to. So for the siren, I added a couple of little musical notes in blue. For the zombie, for this chap, I changed the colours a little bit in the chest area. It just didn't show up. Quite a few of the colours were very similar, so I just changed that one. For the zombie, I wanted a bit of a shout out to The Walking Dead, which is one of my favourite ever TV shows ever. And the crossbow arrow is my homage to Daryl Dixon, who is Lush. And then we've got the gin. I don't think I've changed much else. I don't think I've changed anything at all else. No. Oh yeah, I did. So with the fairy, I was sort of getting Wonder Woman vibes from her costume, from what she's wearing. Where is it? There you go. So I just made a little, 5 little stitches in blue, made it look like a Wonder Woman sign. There's some French knots to go on this one. There's some French knots to go on the gnome's mushrooms as well. I'm going to put them all on afterwards. I didn't want them to get squashed. And just to say, for the ogre, it was my sort of least favourite one at the beginning, and as I was stitching him, the shading in the green of this guy is just amazing. So now I think he's possibly my favourite. With the vampire, the fangs, the teeth, the fangs, were done in just the black V, and to me it looked really weird, so I put some white inside of it. And when I'm stitching over here on these two, it just looks like a moustache. So I'm actually going to take that out and I'm going to probably redo the V's, but redo them in red. You know, like she's just gone off and had a drink. I think I might do that. I think I'm going to do that. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so I might have changed the odd bit here and there, but nothing particularly to shout home about. Yeah. So yeah, this is where I am on this one. Just got to finish the unicorn, and And then I've got the devil and ghost, or ghost and devil, whichever way they go around. And I've got two left. Oh, and some more of these little skull things, which are horrendous to stitch. My least favourite bit of the whole thing. So I suspect they're going to go there. Maybe, yeah, bound to. So yeah, so I've got 2 more pieces, and then this one will be done. So when I've been stitching on Adrift, I've been stitching on a Nurge hoop on a Stitchmaster Siesta Frames Stitchmaster, which is a stand which has got 2 long arms that come out, and then 2 little wooden kind of bits at the end that hold the piece. So you could use a scroll frame and you could rest it, and it's not clamped onto anything, it's just resting on arms with 2 little stoppers at the end, and then you could just turn it over. So I've been stitching on that, but where I've been stitching it, I've had this really good heavy duty clamp light. So now I don't have that, and downstairs in the lounge where I stitch, I move around on the sofa to loads of different places depending on how I feel. So I don't have a particular spot, and I don't have a particular light. So what I've been using is, so say there's my 7-inch hoop, I've been using these tiny little clip-on lamps, clamp lamps. They're USB chargeable. I don't know why I'm pointing, that's really blurry, but they just clamp like this, and they go on, and they have 3 different colour settings, as a lot of these do, and it just clamps. I mean, it won't do it now because I haven't got any fabric in there, but it just clamps onto the hoop like this, and I stitch with it on, and it's so good. And I've got 2 of them, so I've constantly charging one, using the other. Constantly, it would cost me a fortune, but I'm charging one and I use the other, and then I just rotate them out, and they're both USB chargeable. They're so good. They're only about £13 from Amazon, so if you're looking for a little bit of light, and it's lightweight, so that clamps on there and it makes no I don't even really notice it. It's honestly so lightweight. Sorry for all the, I'm probably making lots of banging noises, but yes, highly recommend these. So that leads me on to what I should be stitching in December, which I am going to hopefully start. I've been out Christmas shopping all day today. England are playing France this evening in, turn my phone watch on, in 1 hour, so I need to wrap this up really quickly. So I'm very excited about that, whatever happens. But for those of you who have watched my channel, I've said that about 18 times in this video. Last year, Emma and I did Dinosaur December SAL. So in December, stitch on something dinosaur related. Doesn't matter what it is. We're both stitching the same piece, which is an Owl Forest embroidery kit called Dinosaur Forest. It's this one. I just love it so much. We started this last year. We decided we're going to do Dinosaur December every single year. So if you're interested, please use the hashtag Dinosaur December SAL and join us in Dinosaur December. So I'm going to show you where I got to. I'm using the called for threads that come in the kit and the called for fabric. Owl Forest embroidery aren't quite working in the same way that they were before, but you can still buy kits from them, and you can also buy PDFs via a particular shop on Etsy. So this should still be available, but you don't, like I said, you don't have to stitch on this one. Stitch on anything dinosaur related in the month of December and join us. So this is where I was at the end of last December. So yeah, I've done a lot more than I thought I had. Still a lot to go, and yeah, really love this one. This was quite fun to do, but this guy, so cool. Yeah, and yeah, nothing else to say on it really. I love it. I'm going to stitch it. So the last one I wanted to show you for my December stitching is another Mill Hill kit. This is Cappuccino. I actually started this one, must have been 2021, and as I said, this is one of the ones that has gone away. Like Dinosaur Forest would have gone away anyway until December, but this one is just one of those whips I've put away till I finished Adrift. So this one's coming out, and if I can, I'm going to try and get this one done for Christmas for my dad. I showed him this a while ago, the design, and he said, oh, I like that one. Yeah, if you do one of those, I'll put it by my coffee machine. I'm going to try and get this for him for Christmas. So yeah, I got this far in some stitching. It's quite, I mean, compared to the pizza, it's not a small piece. You can just about make out the words the start of the words cappuccino as it goes across. A little bit of the mug. Yeah, I found this one quite difficult. I can't remember if I've put it on Pattern Keeper. I must have put it on Pattern Keeper somehow. I've just taken a photo. Maybe it's on PDF. I can't remember. But yeah, three strands, I suspect. Yes, 3 strands. I might actually take this one down tonight. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get that one done. I haven't yet sorted the beads. They are looking good though. Look at them all. I'm not scared of it all now. Okay, so that's it for the stitching that I was going to show you today. However, I wanted to talk to you about plans for next year. I'm going to do that properly, like my actual plans, and show you all the whips and stuff. I'm going to do that properly in another video. But I just wanted to talk to you about the first stitch along SAL that Emma and I will be doing in the new year. So for the last 2 years, I believe, is it? Possibly. So what we normally would have done is started a new piece in January and done that for a few months and then changed to another one. Probably done about 4 throughout the year. But what we decided to do this year, and this is Emma's absolute genius idea, I think it works really well, and I don't think we're the only ones that are in this position. But basically, by the end of this year, we wouldn't have finished Under the Sea. Realistically, I might be able to do a little bit, but I'm not going to be able to finish the whole of the back stitch and all of the bits and pieces. We have a couple of other stitch alongs together that we haven't quite finished. So for instance, I haven't finished Adventurer Waits, which is one of the stitch alongs that we did earlier on in the year. I'll hopefully be putting a picture somewhere here. And so we're going to do a Salathon. So for the month of January, we're going to finish off any of the stitch alongs as much as we can that we're going to bring from 2022 into 2023. We don't want them to be whips forever. We want them to be finished, and if we haven't quite managed to finish them in 2022, things happen, life happens, we get a bit behind, but we want to be able to catch up. So instead of doing a new year, new start, which is something that I would have definitely done, I'm actually going to join Emma and we're going to do a Salathon. So the pieces that I'm going to work on will be Under the Sea. I will finish Adventure Awaits, which is a caterpillar cross stitch design. I'm going to flesh out my actual plans a bit better later. Obviously not all SALs are going to be able to be finished. So for instance, my 5 new starts for Halloween, I'm not going to be bringing those into the Salathon. But I might bring in, for instance, the fox from the Year in the Woods stitch along. That's now finished. We've got all 12 of the parts. And I never finished the fox. So I think I might do the fox in January as part of the Salathon. And then there's also the opportunity to finish the Supernatural SAL if you haven't quite finished it, or finish the Cryptid SAL. A number of my stitchy friends are still on the Cryptid SAL. There's a month there, like a month of January, to have no kind of pressure of the rest of the year. I don't want to increase my whip count. I want to decrease my whip count. There's nothing wrong with increasing your whip count. I fully intend to increase my whip count again. But it's just an opportunity in January to just finish stuff that you don't want to take into next year. If you would like to join us in a Salathon, then please use the hashtag Salathon2023 and let us know. Let me know in the comments below if this is something that you would like to do. If it is as well, let me know what pieces you'd want to bring in. A month is a long time to be able to get some stuff done, and it just gives us an opportunity to clear the decks a bit. We do have other stitch alongs planned for the rest of the year. We are finalising our pieces and then we can let you know what those are. So my plan now for December, just to recap, is to finish Supernatural, finish the Unicorn and the other 2, the Devil and the Ghost. Then I'm going to finish the December part for Under the Sea. I'm going to work on my Mill Hill Cappuccino and work on my Dinosaur Forest from Owl Forest Embroidery for hashtag Dinosaur December SAL. I think that's pretty good, although that is 4 things to stitch. Anyway, I'm going to pretend December's a long time, and I have actually got a couple of days off over the Christmas period, so well, between Christmas and New Year, so I may be able to squeeze in some more then. If you want to join us for Dinosaur December, please use the hashtag, please let us know. It would be awesome to see other people stitching dinosaurs in December. I know there's a couple of stitchy friends who are stitching this and it's just so cool. And if you are interested in joining us for a Salathon in January, let us know. I think it's a great idea and I feel much more relaxed about it already, knowing that I can actually get some of these last bits of some of these stitch alongs done, and I've got the freedom and I've got a month to do it, so I'm really happy about that. I mean, you never know, I might have a new start as well. So again, if you're interested in getting your hands on this one, Silhowitches Quaker by Teresa Kogut, It is the paper printed pattern. I will ship internationally. Please use the word Quaker in your comment below, Quaker. Please be 18. Please do not use any of those giveaway words, winning prize, all that sort of stuff. And if you did like this video, please do hit the like, the thumbs up button below, and the subscribe button if you want to see more. Anyway, rambling now. Thank you very much for watching. See you at the next one.